Okay, hi Divya, thanks for joining us for this episode of Bare Thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for having me there.
Do you want to just start off by introducing yourself?
Sure. I'm Divya. I'm the campaigns director at chatka.org in Bangalore. I've been with chatka.org for about 4.5 years now, and I'm originally from Bombay.
Oh, nice. Fun fact, I did not know that. So, how did you get started? What did you do before Chatka? Like, how did you decide this was going to be your career path?
So I started off actually with doing a bachelor's in microbiology in Bombay, and I very quickly realized that the lab life was not for me. I could not sit in the lab for hours staring into petri dishes, talking to microbes, and because I'm such a people person and I really need to be out and working with people. So I quickly realized that was really not my thing, and in fact, the natural progression sort of from microbiology seemed to be public health at that point. A lot of my seniors were going into public health, and so I sort of explored that area of work. And so I decided to do a master's in public health and also did a diploma in human rights on the side. And during my master's, I was doing a couple of internships and got introduced to the whole idea of environmental public health because I've always been very passionate about environmental issues since I was a child, actually. And so this was like a really nice sort of mix. And so that's when I sort of got into. I tried to figure out ways in which I could work in that field. Although for the first couple of years, I worked in like women and child health, did some more research with some think tanks, and then finally joined a group of activists in Chennai who used to work with communities living around coal-fired power plants and coal mines and sort of the health impacts that they have. And so that was a very, very interesting time. And during that job, actually, I found out about the Unilever Kodaikanal issue because the activists I was working with, my friends were actually involved in that campaign, and they have been, working with the lawyers, and it's, been in court for 12. It had been in court for like 12 years at that point, and so we were looking for a place to like really do some outreach and make some noise about the campaign. And that's when we discovered Chatka, and we were like, okay, let's get in touch with them and see how we can make this big. And so I actually worked with the Chatka team at that point on that campaign. And then after a few months, I actually moved to Bangalore and I was looking for another job. And my friends in Chennai were like, hey, why don't you look at Chatka? So that's how I actually approached them and started off as a campaigner with them. And it's been 4.5 years now, and since then, actually, I've worked on the Unilever campaign on Jagga's team as well. So it's been really interesting to see like both sides. Yeah.
Nice. What were some of the other campaigns that you're really proud of at Chatka?
So at Jagga, we basically work on two verticals. We work on climate and air quality and gender and sexuality. So and women's rights. So in the climate and air quality front, we work a lot on urban deforestation. We partner with a lot of on-ground nonprofits and activists who've been doing incredible work over the years. And for example, the Steel Flyover campaign in Bangalore, or even the RA campaign in Mumbai. Those were some of our biggest campaigns. And in the gender and sexuality and women's rights front, we primarily work on like sexual harassment at universities and workplaces, gender sensitization. Right now, we're exploring gender sensitization among the police in order to get women and help women get their FIRs filed smoothly. So yeah, those are and yeah, those are our two main verticals, other than like general women's safety and also calling out sexism on the internet, especially. So yeah.
Nice, all great things. And they all really interrelate with one another, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about the intersectionality of some of the issues that you work with at Chatka?
So, for example, like I think one thing I always talk about is there is an incredible group of women, especially right now in Delhi, who work on air quality and air pollution, have been addressing the issue of air pollution in Delhi, and they're all mothers. and they have been some of the strongest voices in this movement towards curbing air pollution and just making noise about air pollution. And in fact, right now there's a group that's been formed this year. They're called Mothers for Clean Air,
Nice.
and they're an amazing bunch of people who work in Delhi who really, when they speak about air pollution, it really hits you at the core because they talk so passionately about how it's affecting their 3-year-old or 5-year-old, and that really relates to um, air pollution's impact on individual health. Like that's also something that we've seen at Chatka, where when we were trying to talk about air pollution, you can't just say AQI is 150 or something like that, right? To the layperson, it's not going to make any sense, and you have to relate it to individual health. And when we do a lot of message testing at Chatka to see what kind of messaging works and what is more compelling for people to take action, and individual health works every single time, child health works every single time. So yeah, you have this amazing group of women who've been doing work, and that's it's been really inspiring to see them. And they're such strong voices. They go meet with your government officials and decision makers, and they have other jobs. This is not all they do, and they're balancing so many things, and it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears a little bit, what do you do in your free time? I've seen your Instagram of beautiful plants and stuff. So tell us about the non-activist, but just the human side of it.
Oh my God. I yeah, I'm a really crazy plant lady. My house is full of plants. I'm That's almost exclusively all I do these days during the lockdown. That sort of gives me a lot of joy, and tending to them and fertilizing them and repotting them and all of that. And I've been growing some like food. Like I grow like tomatoes and chilies and a bunch of other things, and so it's been really exciting. But yeah, other than that, I also do some art. I'm a mehndi artist, and so just I just need someone to give me a hand, and I'll be the happiest person. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do in my free time, and I love it. And of course, I read a lot. I'm part of a really cool book club for a group of women who do these challenges every year. It's the Read Harder Challenge, and I have some of my friends on it, and we're such nerds. Like we have an Excel sheet and everything that details all the books that we've read, and we leave comments for each other, and everything is really cool.
So what's the goal? How many books did you read in a year?
So the Read Harder Challenge is very specific. There are 24 tasks,
Mhm.
so it's 2 books a month. And but the fun is in finding the books. So the task will say read a book where the protagonist is a person of color, or is a female person of color or something. You just look for the books, and so it gets really interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. What does sustainability just mean to you?
Sustainability, I think for me, it means anything that you can continue doing and also pass on to others or the next generation without harming your surroundings. And for me, I think the idea of sustainability started off really young, when I was really young. Actually, my dad, I think, is the biggest inspiration for me. And I remember even as a child, like I would see him being very mindful of consumption. He still is. He's someone who's very content with what he has, and but also when it comes to like all of our light bulbs in our house are the low watt ones, and my mom will be yelling at him saying, "I can't see anything. Why is this so dark?" And he's like, "No, this is good enough." And he would be someone who would put those 2-liter Coke bottles inside the flush. Do you know that hack where you put it in and then it uses only half the water?
Yeah.
He's All of our flushes had that in our house, and like he was the biggest inspiration for me. And ever since, like I've always been a person who's tried to be low waste as much as I can. I switched to reusable, sanitary products maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and it's been a great journey. I'm the biggest advocate of that, especially. But that also, I think, for me, came from meeting municipal sanitation workers and
Yeah.
hearing their stories. I think that was one of the first triggers for me to change my lifestyle. Um, But yeah, I try as much as possible. I'm a huge advocate of also secondhand everything. Even in my house, my family calls me kabadi wali because I love like inheriting things and anything that's vintage and old. And, like I have 3 typewriters and a bunch of trunks, and like I'm just this person who I hoard all of this stuff. But the point is, I don't buy anything more. Like I'm very
Yeah.
happy with what I get, and yeah, so it's been, but I have a long way to go though. And you've been such an inspiration for that.
No, all of us have a long way to go. Nice, amazing. It's been so fun chatting with you. Thanks for spending time
You
to
too.
share.
Thank you.